This was one of the most pretentiously absurd horror films I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of horror films. I'm speaking about the Japanese horror film Best Wishes to All, which is apparently a full-length production of a short film. This is not the first time I've watched a full-length production of a short film that was crappy. Sometimes it can work, okay? I've had that happen. Sometimes it has not. This is one of those times. Oh my goodness, this movie. Okay, I'll give a little bit of the synopsis, and then I have a whole slew of things that I just ranted about in my notes. The story is about, well, it starts off, there's this little prologue-y part where this little girl is with her family at her grandparents' house, and in the beginning, they ask her a question like if she's happy. This is apparently something that is tonally important, okay? I didn't pick up on that until I had to go reading different breakdowns of this movie to figure out what the hell actually happened. And even reading those breakdowns didn't help anything. It's still ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous movie. Anyway, they ask her this about happiness, whatever. And then later it shows her sleeping with her parents, and she hears the thump upstairs, and she goes upstairs into the hallway, and she hears this strange noise behind this door, and she catches a glimpse of something really quick, and then it just stops, and then it picks up in the present where she's an adult and she's woken up from this nightmare about this event in her childhood. She finds out that a planned visit to her grandparents with her family, which is her mom, her dad, and she's got a younger brother, it's not going to go exactly the way she thought. She's going to have to go there ahead of them because I guess her brother's sick or whatever. So she goes there to her grandparents' place, and early on, she starts to pick up on odd behavior. And as the story goes on, she starts to find out something about her family, and by extension, something about all of the other people around her that is this very dark, sinister thing that's going on. And beware, I am going to spoil this film, because a lot of my gripes have to do with things that end up happening with the characters. And this is such a terrible film to me. I don't know why in the world it has the mid to high-ish. It doesn't have super high ratings, but it's above a 3 on Letterboxd, which is generous to me. I think it's like maybe 5 something or 6 something on IMDb. Still very generous. I'm not going to give kudos to a Japanese horror movie just because it's a Japanese horror movie. Sometimes they suck. This is one of them. Can you tell I really don't like this film? I'm annoyed that I spent 88 minutes with this movie. I think that's how long it was. Whatever, it's way too long. Some positives. There is some tension that is sufficiently amped up. It's very creepy, and something I did appreciate was that the tension, when it would be amped up, it was done without much score or any score. And that lack of score provided the creepy atmosphere and tension that worked. Similar to Warfare, how there was no score, but just the lack of score was kind of a score in itself, and it really helped to amp up the tension. Kind of like that. There are a handful of unsettling moments. There's a scene where she's sitting at the table with her grandparents, and they just inexplicably start grunting like pigs, and it's very, very odd, and her reaction to it is understandable. Obviously, I mean, she's baffled by what she's seeing. And then I think there's another scene where someone sucks on someone's finger, and it looks, gross and nasty. And then there's another scene where a woman gets axed in the head. That was kind of startling, obviously, but you knew leading up to it that something was going to happen because you could just tell. You know how you can just pick up on the atmosphere of the scene or the situation. But other than that, there were so many problems with this story. There were logical issues in the storytelling. For example, things that made no sense. When she is exposed to all this weird stuff that's going on with her grandparents, and then later her parents, and she finds out that they're all involved in this, and then she finds out the whole town knows what's up. She's horrified. She runs away. She comes back. She runs away again. She comes back again. She runs off. I mean, she's like back and forth. It's like, dude, why are you running no farther than this village? Just get the hell out of town. Anyway, she ultimately ends up just going along with it and fully accepting this situation with no clear explanation as to how in the world she actually got swept up into accepting this stuff that they are doing. Just there's no clear demonstration of why she suddenly decided to accept this, what they've been calling the happiness ritual, whatever these people are doing. And the thing about that is it doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know what they're doing. I don't need to be handheld through everything, but I also don't need to be given this series of weird, stupid imagery and scenes happening without any clear indication in what you're showing me what's actually going on. I mean, this is a mind of a movie, and not in a good way, like at all. There are other stupid things that happen in this film. At one point, this guy that she had liked was a childhood, I guess, crush or relationship she had had. And he apparently knows all this stuff that's going on. And she's having this sort of little bit of a breakdown. And she starts to show symptoms of like things are happening to her that happen to you if you don't participate in this ritual. And at some point, he takes her hands and he puts her hands up to his neck to force her to strangle him. Number one, you can't force somebody to strangle you just by holding their hands up to your neck. They have to apply pressure. Well, she ends up strangling him anyway, somehow, this way. Really, really stupid. They don't explain either, like I've already said, what is this happiness ritual? She finds a man that's chained up at her grandparents' house, and he's got this bandage on his abdomen, so they've been cutting away pieces of him. But what pieces of him have they been cutting away, and why? It doesn't even fully explain, like, what is this physical thing that they get from doing what they're doing to them? Like, other than it just being called a happiness ritual. See, here's the problem I have with this movie. There's actually these symbolic themes to all of this, what this is really supposed to represent, and it is so obnoxiously pretentious. And I don't have a problem with themes or messaging in certain movies, but you have to have this messaging demonstrated to you in a way that actually makes sense. Even if you don't fully understand the messaging, you still need to understand what the hell's going on. It's not clear at all what's going on in this stupid movie. And how in the hell does grandma suddenly become pregnant and give birth to a baby? Like, what the hell? Like, how does this supposed eating of people or torturing of people or what the hell ever they're doing, how does this bring them happiness? How and why? And like, apparently all of this is supposed to be some attempted messaging about life under late stage capitalism or something where happiness depends on the suffering of others and all that crap, but it loses itself in pretentious, incoherent storytelling. I've used pretentious a lot. That was about the only thing I could think of when I was watching this, besides my eyes rolling into the back of my head because I was so annoyed at what I was watching. The messaging that people who don't participate in this happiness ritual, like her friend, the guy that she liked, his family apparently didn't. And because of that, they were stuck in a cycle of generational unhappiness because they didn't participate in this ritual. What? Also messaging about generational divides, just these metaphors for whatever they were trying to promote or give you this message or make this statement about. It just wasn't implemented in any sort of way that could give me appreciation for what was being attempted. It felt lazy. It felt like someone who thought they were being really smart and clever with this messaging that they were having. Let's show it. But it felt like this imagery that we were being shown was just weird shit put up on screen just to shock and startle us with no clear understanding, no sense of discovery about what was really going on. We didn't have a full sense of world building. We didn't really understand much about any of these people. Like, I couldn't even feel completely connected to the main character because she did so many things that were weird and stupid. And they don't explain things like, is this something that's just within the village? Or is it within the whole nation, the bigger city? Does it go all the way to Tokyo? Does it go to the rest of the world? Like, why in the world is the main character the only person that doesn't know about it? They try to address, well, she blocked it out of her memory because she couldn't accept it. I don't know. The creepy imagery that we were shown to really, man, that birthing scene was so retarded too. It was so, I can't. It felt surface level. Just, acting weird for weirdness sake, which kind of felt arrogant on top of feeling amateurish, like I've already said. So someone referred to this as feeling like film. I'm going to read it's kind of a quote. It felt like film students imitating A24 horror without understanding how to craft a story. Not clever, just lazy. The whole thing was just outlandish. It was nonsensical. A real downgrade for Japanese horror, in my opinion. Just because we get something from Japan does not mean it's going to be excellent quality. And this is one of those cases. And I don't understand. I truly do not understand the generous ratings that this film has. I gave it half a star out of 5. That's how absolutely terrible it was. The positives to this, they can't even add more than a half a star for me. That's how annoyed I am about this film. It should have stayed a short film. Yeah, it should have. It's like they stretched this thing out and added all this, obviously because they stretched it out. From what I understand, the original short film was like 11 minutes long. That was probably much better. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't understand that either, but at least it wouldn't eat away as much time as I spent watching this absolutely craptastically awful excuse for a horror film. Some people that really love this thing might feel like, oh, you just don't get the messaging. No, I get the messaging. Well, I did have to have it explained to me because that's how absolutely stupid it was. I get the messaging now, but the way this thing was put together and shown to us was just terrible. No excuse for how bad this movie was. None. I cannot recommend this film. Give it a go if you really like completely absurd out there stuff. If you really love Japanese horror, check it out and see what you think. But yeah, this is an absolute no thank you from me. So that is all I have to say for now about best wishes to all. My best wish would have been that I never watched this stupid movie. And that's it. There you go. I don't have anything else to say. Bye.